Howdy, y'all, and welcome to the Deep South Podcast. I'm your host, Possum Paw McGraw Jr., coming to you live from the heart of mystery, madness, and muscle cramps. Last week, my knees was doing things they ain't done since prom night 2002, and I'll tell you right now, it wasn't voluntary. Folks around here got hit with something I can only describe as a case of the devil's dance fever. Now, I know what you're thinking. Pa, was it just allergies? Did y'all eat expired squirrel meat again? But this wasn't that. This was supernatural. And it all started with a thud. It all started bright and early one morning. I got woke up by what sounded like an elephant trying to procreate with my trailer. Shook the whole damn frame like the thunderclap from the Lord himself. I stumble outside in my boxers and Crocs only to find Darla Jean doing the worm up the side of my trailer. Not across it, mind you, up it. Like a breakdancing raccoon scaling a dumpster. She hit the top, saluted the sky, and yelled, "Y'all feel that groove?" At the time, I thought maybe she'd just taken too much Sudafed and was feeling spirited. But I was wrong. Man, I ain't even had time to make coffee before things started going downhill faster than a goat on roller skates. 1 minute, it's just Darla Jean wiggling up my siding. Next thing I know, the whole trailer park's caught the fever. I'm talking full-blown dance outbreak. Folks was dropping it low at baptisms and strutting through Piggly Wiggly like it was a disco dance floor. It was like Footloose, but with more unpaid power bills. Sister Loretta was leading a line dance in the middle of church. The preacher was too busy two-stepping in tongues to notice. The choir was trying to harmonize, but they were bouncing and scooting so much that they sounded like a bunch of babies being bounced on knees. At Old Man Crenshaw's funeral, Ricky Dale started twerking to the organ music. I ain't never seen grief expressed like that, but he did seem like he was enjoying it. And so was everyone else. 'Cause after a while, that funeral looked like a rap music video from the early 2000s. Y'all should have seen the procession. There were little kids Fortnite dancing at the bus stop. No music playing, just vibes. One of them kept saying something about slurp juice. I don't know, man. Even Grits, my one-eyed possum pal, starts moonwalking across the kitchen table. I caught Merle Dunlap the next day trying to pop and lock with his lawnmower. His usual checkered pattern was shaped more like Nicki Minaj's backside. At first, I thought maybe I was immune, but then it started. I was trying to eat a corn dog and my elbow did the Carlton. Like it had a mind of its own. I flung that thing clear across the gas station. The fella behind the counter didn't seem to mind the mustard stain on the wall. He kept saying, "Woo!" and dabbing. Couple hours later, I'm buying bait down at the Piggly Doos when my knees betray me and I start hitting the nay-nay in front of Miss Trudy, who already thinks I'm feral. Later that night, my left leg kept twitching in the bed. Natalie walks in, says either you're possessed or you're rehearsing for a TikTok I don't want to see. Then Natalie starts talking about rhythmic energy and cursed frequencies. Says we need to check the soil vibrations under the park. That's when I remembered. That old gas station that collapsed in '09, well, there was always something weird about that land. We head out there, me, Natalie, Grits, and a wheelbarrow full of aluminum foil hats just in case. We poke around the rubble, and sure enough, there it is. A jukebox, still powered, lights flickering, covered in moss, speakers humming about 4 octaves lower than it should have been, kinda like a toy you buy down at the dollar store that you can't replace the batteries in. Behind the glass, the CD that was playing had writing in faded Sharpie that said Summer Mixtape '08, do not play. Natalie says, well, there's your problem. Soon as I get close, my whole body betrays me. I start flossing uncontrollably. I ain't never flossed before, and suddenly I'm out here looking like a middle school pep rally. I try to fight it. I grab the jukebox handle with one hand while the other hand was doing the worm. I can't pull the CD out because I'm convulsing like I got lightning in my britches. Natalie sighed and said, hold my sunglasses. She walked up cool as a possum in a puddle, ripped out the CD and smashed it on the pavement. Y'all, a ghost flew out of that thing wearing shutter shades, neon tank top, and I kid you not, that sucker hit the gritty. Mid-air, then vanished in a cloud of glitter and Axe body spray. I just sat down on the pavement, breathing heavy, knees trembling. Natalie said, next time, don't dance with demons. All right, folks, it's time for Redneck Mailtime, brought to you today by Grits and the Boys, who are all currently wearing roller skates and disco ball helmets. Don't ask questions. Let's get to it.
Redneck Mailtime. It's time
Letter number 1 comes from Tina in Alabama. She says, my husband's been Harlem shaking for 3 days. What do I do? Tina, I'm real sorry to hear that. 3 days of Harlem shaking is enough to throw a man's spine out of warranty. First thing I'd do is unplug every music playing device in the house, even the doorbell if it's got a tune. Then try sprinkling cornmeal in a circle around him. It won't help, but it'll at least catch the sweat. If none of that works, call your local exorcist/Zumba instructor. They know how to break possession through interpretive movement. Letter number 2 comes from Dave in Kentucky. Is it still considered cheating if your wife dances with a ghost? Well, Dave, that depends. Did the ghost lead? 'Cause if he dipped her, twirled her, and whispered sweet nothings in her ear in a language older than time, you might have a case. But if it was just a casual waltz during a haunting, well, I'd say let it slide. Though I would start sleeping with one eye open and one hand on a sage bundle. Ghosts are slick. Letter number 3 comes from Misty down in Florida. She says, can line dancing be used as a tax deduction if it's how I lost 30 pounds? Now, Misty, I ain't a tax expert, but if the government can write off cow flatulence and broken swamp boats, then your calorie-burning country stomps ought to count. Keep records, step counts, playlists, possibly even witness statements. If the IRS shows up confused, offer to teach them the electric slide. If they leave sweating and smiling, you've already won. Letter number 4 comes from Big Ron in Texas. He says, my chicken's been footloose ever since that mixtape played. Ron, you got a rare case of poultry polka possession. First thing, do not take that bird to a dance floor. You'll start a flash mob. Second, try playing Hank Williams backwards and feeding it plain grits for a few days. If that don't work, put a tiny cowboy hat on it and book it a tour bus. If you can't stop it, monetize it. That's the redneck way. Letter number 5 comes from Skeeter down in West Virginia. He says, I caught my reflection dug in. Is my mirror haunted? Skeeter, it sounds like your mirror's been compromised. If your reflection starts doing moves you ain't done since prom, then either you're losing time or your mirror's got a spiritual backup dancer. Best thing to do is cover it up with a possum pelt overnight and chant no more boogie till sunrise. If the reflection keeps moving, it's time to sell the house. Y'all, what did we learn today? Don't ignore the worm. If your knees start popping, check the soil. And never, ever trust a mixtape labeled Do Not Play. You've been listening to the Deep South Podcast. I'm your host, Possum Paw McGraw Jr. Y'all be safe out there and stay weird.